fucking. Has my mic been off this whole fucking time? God damn it. This whole fucking point of this is me talking. So if the mic's been off this whole time, I think we have to quit it, right? Like, I think I might have to just fucking delete the stream and hang my head in shame. This is so fucking embarrassing. Holy shit. Okay, this is really sad. Am I on webcam mic? I might be. Am I on webcam mic right now? Oh, this is really sad. Did I fuck everything up? I think I did. Yeah, I am on webcam mic. I don't. Holy shit, finally! Oh my god. So, like, how long have you been here, Blade of Galadriel? Have you been here, like, the whole fucking stream? Yeah, quick rundown. I think that's a good idea. Honestly, for the sake of it, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think my mic's been off this whole time, so that works out anyways. You know what? I'm gonna restart from the beginning for this, just for fun. I can do it. It's fine. It shouldn't be that hard. So, movie opening. Movie opens, and have you watched the movie? Are you fine? I assume you're fine getting, like, stuff spoiled. You want, like, a spoiler-free, like, rundown first, or, like, what? Okay. Perfect. So the opening opens with, like, the guy, security guy unscrewing the vent. I love the opening. The opening is, like, the best part of the movie for me. Like, it's what I wanted it to be, I guess. Like, the guy is, like, freaked out. He's like, you got the doors in front of the chairs and stuff in front of the door. It just realistically feels like what you would try to do in that context, and I like that. I don't know. I like that. He opens the vent. He, like, goes through the vent. It's just, it does a very good job, like, doing this, like, tense kind of, like, panicky thing. The performance from, like, the security actor's great. And he gets kind of, I like, one thing I really like is the location. I love, like, the, like, set of the movie. I love, like, the building. I like the way they translated it into, like, a real kind of, like, location. Getting rid of, like, the automatic doors. I feel like that's, like, a casualty of, like, everything. That makes sense. There's only one door actually in the office. Just interesting. And they got the poster from, like, the first game. Of course they've got it. But yeah, anyways. Security guard goes down the hallway, gets chased. It's more of a plot synopsis, but I really like the intro. And, like, he's, like, trying to get the bolt loose, but it's, like, kind of a tense thing, and he, like, doesn't get the bolt loose, and it sets up for later. I like that a lot. And so then the movie starts, and the movie, like, starts. You got you got all the arcade screens for the intro. Of course you're gonna fucking do that. I liked that. I like the, like, you get, like, the spring trap. He looks back, and, like, you get, like, the kind of, like, the sprite looks kind of sinister or, like, angry. I think it was Springtrap or maybe Bonnie or something, but I liked it. And yeah, then we get into, like, the actual movie. So so there's, like, a book called Dream Theory, first of all, which is, like, really interesting. I didn't notice this until one of my friends pointed it out to me, but, like, Dream Theory was, like, a popular FNAF, like it was the name of a popular theory in the community, which is, like, really interesting. It's, like, definitely, it feels like a nod or, like, a, acknowledgement of that. I wouldn't take it any more seriously than that. And so, yeah, and he's, like, a security guard. I like that Mike is a, like, former security guard somewhere else. That just makes sense. He's, like, too gung-ho. He sees, like, a boy get, like, snatched by somebody, and he, like, immediately assumes, ooh, like, getting kidnapped. And so he chases him down and beats him up. And, I think I'm fine with that if it's, like, in service of establishing, like, Mike is, like, just an unstable, like, unwell guy, which he is. And it's, like, a good reason for him to be desperate for work. It's just, like, set up for him to be desperate for work. I think that's fine. And then he goes to, like, the job interview place. And you got what's his name? Matthew Lillard as Steve. I remembered it before. Shit. I already forgot the name of the fake name. It doesn't matter. Steve Rag. Uh, no, not Steve Pillard. That's fucking. You're thinking of like Matthew Lillard, like Steve Raglan. Steve Raglan. Okay, that's his fucking name. The fake name, obviously. I liked Matthew Lillard's like performance as you're okay. It's like a fucking generic name. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Um. Anyways, I like Matthew Lillard's performance as Steve. I think he does a good job as Steve. He has this kind of like annoying job counselor thing going on where it's like, oh, you should take this shitty job. Hey, I'm gonna spin this as a positive. And like if the scene does a good job. Like I feel like if you know what's going on, you know what's going on. He acts a little suspicious enough to where like people who didn't know the plot of like the what was gonna happen like on a rewatch would be like, oh, I see that coming. Like he does this weird thing. So like he starts off very like jovial, like although not as much as I would expect. I guess I don't know. He's like a little like mean, like a little like I don't know. I always think of like William Afton, and he's like described as like this warm, jovial kind of Santa Claus man. And like this guy's like very upbeat, but he's definitely like more passive aggressive, and he's like, but that's like movie book differences. I don't think the fact that like I don't think there's a bad deviation necessarily. Like I think that can work as like a version of William Afton. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, Steve is like, in the end of the movie sets it up that he's like, his whole thing I guess is he finds desperate people and tries to get them to like lure them into the pizzeria for some reason. I don't know. Just for fun because he's evil. He like Remnant or some bullshit. And so he's like, ooh, we should really go here. And then like, so this interesting thing happens halfway through where he reads his like case file. He's like, Mike and he like he changes from that point on. He gets a lot more nervous and a lot more like desperate kind of, which is weird. Initially I thought that scene was going to set up that like Mike Afton, right? He's like, oh, you changed your last name, and like somehow Mike doesn't know who his dad is. Like obviously there was a dream sequence in the beginning, so it's like he has another dad, so it's like it couldn't be. I don't know, but like they could do some weird adoption storyline. I don't think so, but so yeah. So the what am I thinking? To be fair, like I was not assisting the first time, I would reckon, so you're not missing much. So yeah, he gets like, I think his performance is a little off already, but it's not. I don't know. Something about it's weird to me, but I don't have the words for it right now. I get he's like supposed to be off, but Anyways, he doesn't take the job, and he's like, here, take my business card. He goes to the school. This is where the movie really starts like going downhill for me. I hate the aunt. I and not in the way the movie wants me to, where it's like, oh yeah, the aunt. Oh, I hate the aunt. Oh, she's like a mean, evil stepmother. Like I hate how like two-dimensional cookie cutter. Like she literally seems like a villain you would see on like an episode of Power Rangers, or like, yes, no, like in like a. She seems like she is two-dimensional. She's like set up just blatantly to be like she's the bad person. You don't like her. We want you to not like her. She's got this like this fucking lawyer guy. She literally seems like a character off of like a children's show. And like I'm not against the premise inherently. I think like the premise of like the aunt wants to take her in, and like no, don't do that. That's fine. And that's like his motivation for getting the job, right? She just like, she literally feels like she was taken off like, I don't know, like a Disney, yeah, like a Disney, channel movie. Like I swear to God. And then like later, there's the whole thing. Oh my God, she basically she's paying like the babysitter to like dig up dirt, and she can't because Mike is just such a good boy, and we love Mike, and he's so good, and he's such a good brother, and the movie is like just very adamant about this. It's like he's just really good, and you shouldn't question his like ability to raise like Abby even a little bit, because like he's just a good guy, and we're supposed to root for him. And she's like being paid or whatever by the aunt, and the aunt's like paying, literally, like it's like okay, we can't find dirt on this guy, so we're just gonna break into like the restaurant and make him look bad. And that is literally like a fucking, I swear to God, that's like a plot line, and like that is that is like actually a plot line from like a children's show, and like a Power Rangers episode has that plot line. I swear to God, it is. Oh my God, it's so fucking stupid. I don't like it. So you have like these bad, and you're supposed to not sympathize with these guys. These guys are like acceptable targets. Also, Matt Pat, it's so stupid. Oh my God, thank you. Yes. Also, Matt Pat cameo. Love that. They chose the perfect fucking character for like Matt Pat to play, or it's like the like very chipper, upbeat like waiter you get who's like, ooh, you should try this. Ooh, breakfast is like the most important meal or whatever. Or I can't remember exactly, but like that's a perfect role for fucking Matt Pat. That's like Matt Pat in the universe where he doesn't become a YouTuber. He's that guy. He's like a little annoying. He's like one of those fucking servers. I don't know. Perfect role for Matt Pat. I remember, yeah, I remember hearing the voice and being like, holy shit. Like it didn't even show him for a bit, and I just like freaked out in theater. Like like if you saw me in the theater, like I was like doing this, looking over to my friends, like that. That's what I looked like. I'm toning it down. I was like, I don't know. The Fnaf autism brainworms were just going wild. Yeah. No, the whole movie is like pointing like, that it's the thing. Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme. But yeah, it's just such a fucking stupid. I hate that. And the lawyer guy, he's like kind of a fun. I can get behind the lawyer guy a bit. He's like a fun. He's not bad. Like I like the actor, and they chose like a guy who just looks like a human fucking greaseball. Like I don't know, Brendan Fraser in The Whale, like an old corpse that they dug up and used as a lawyer. Like that's a decent character to have for like just I don't know. It like I don't think the lawyer. It's kind of weird that she has a fucking lawyer with her though, and she's just like her thing is like she's rich. The fake crying I think was a little bit too much. Like I don't know. I wish they had like explored that a little bit. They just like they don't even have any sort of like and I think the response this reminds me of like Hell of a Boss discourse kind of a little bit vaguely, not really, but I'm not gonna get into that. But it's like they don't even let any sort of like the protagonist like Mike questions like his ability as like a guardian for like Abby. He's like, I'm not sure if I'm like cut out for this, but like just consistently everyone's like, no, you're like actually the best guy ever, and she loves you, and you're doing amazing, and you're so good, and you're the bestest boy, and which is like fine. I don't know. I think they could have done that while also having the aunt be like a reasonable, like kind of like, to be fair, you did like beat up a guy, and you like maybe this is like not good, and like I don't know, kind of a personal crisis. Like I don't know. So yeah, and then the like after they talk with like the teacher, because I also I don't know why the fucking her teacher is present in the conversation about custody with a fucking lawyer guy. It's just like, why is it like her specific teacher? That should be like a principal at the least. I don't even think a principal would be involved with that. Yeah. No, like he literally fucking like yeah, they just and she's like supposed to be unreasonable like to a fault. Like she is supposed to be everything she says is bad. Everything she does is bad and she's like just makes no good points even when she does. And so it's like she's like, he did like attack this guy and then she starts fake crying and like that's why we're supposed to despite her having a completely valid point, but like she's making it in like a disingenuous manner. She doesn't actually give a shit. You know, where it's like, okay, even if like the aunt is like a disingenuous, like bad person who doesn't actually care and it just like wants, I don't know, Abby. Why does she even want fucking Abby? Because she's like bad. Literally, like, I don't even know. I don't even think she gets a motivation for that. But the movie is like, well, yeah, we're just gonna ignore that. So my kid, yeah, I don't know. Like, because does she genuinely think Mike is bad? I don't think so. Otherwise, like she's like, oh, dig up dirt on him. Like she's trying very desperately to make him look bad. It's, but yeah, obvious. Like I hate that fucking like plot line. It's stupid. I feel like there's just better ways to have done it. And then and then you get into the, so yeah, the guy's talking to the teacher after the lawyer thing. I skipped over that, and she's like, oh, he's like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm a good parent. I think she's right. And he's like, oh, well, you're actually great. And she draws you in all your pictures, so like you're good because you're in all of her pictures. Pictures are important. They're like what kids communicate with. I don't know. It sets up something later. The conversation. We just gotta emphasize how good of a boy Mike is. How Mike is just the goodest boy. We really gotta double down on that. It's important that you know that Mike is just like the goodest guy. Really important that the movie lets you know that. So yeah, then you get to the diner scene. They have the stupid fucking ploy to break into the restaurant, which is also interesting because so they break into the restaurant using the service delivery door, and later on in the movie Vanessa is like, you sleeping on the job caused this because you didn't lock all the doors because you're being negligent. And I think she's obviously I think yeah, but that, and that's the thing is the only door you see him using is the front, and he has no reason to have unlocked the service door in the first place. So chances are the just the delivery door was unlocked to begin with, never had a lock, due to the building owner, and then because literally he only ever yeah, and they break it through the side. I'm not. Did she say specifically he didn't lock the front? Oh, I guess. That's so fucking stupid. I think part of that, honestly, I think again they chose the side entrance because it makes him look better. Because he can't actually be genuinely negligent for taking a bunch of sleeping pills and sleeping through his entire shift. He has a good reason for that, so he's fine. No, we're not gonna explore how that's and the thing is it's also the movie's point is, yeah, it's the only lock you see him unlock. Yeah. Well, yeah, and he's entering there's no reason for him to unlock the other entrances or other openings. That's the only doorway he uses to get in and out. It's so chances so it's not even him being negligent, which I guess is the point, but it's and they can't even I think it would have been more interesting if it was at least the front door he left unlocked, or I'm honestly curious why they didn't break in while he was on the clock, because he's zonked out during all of his shifts. He's sleeping. He's literally sleeping through his shifts. They totally could have broken in during the night while he's asleep, and that would have been it feels almost like that was the original point,
But then they didn't want him like to actually be genuinely negligent. They didn't want him to be bad. And I guess also the other point is like the bad guys don't know that he's like being negligent at his job. But like why not let them like figure out somehow? I don't know. I feel like it's more just like excuses where it's like, well, we got to make Mike look like as good as humanly possible. So like the setup for them like breaking in isn't even going to be like remotely his fault, and it's going to be while he's off the clock, which is also a stupid fucking like ploy. If he knows the animatronics kill the intruders, he doesn't even have to see them kill the intruders is the thing. He's like just asleep the entire time. Which I don't know. He's like a light sleeper, but like it could have happened while he was asleep, and they kill them, and he just doesn't know about it. I don't know. I feel like that could have like I don't know. And like literally, it also feels like that's like almost a setup. Like he's sleeping through his whole shift. Yeah, he sees the blood and whatnot. Anyways, yeah. And I don't know. It could like also explore like, oh, like he like feels guilty because like, oh, the place got trashed while I was asleep. What the hell? Oh, what's going on? But I don't know. I don't know. But you know, he's not allowed to like be a flawed character. Like despite the fact that he is, like simultaneously the plot wants him to be flawed. They don't want to like commit to it. It's like, yeah, he beats up a guy. Yeah, he like falls asleep on a shift. Yeah, he's like a little irresponsible. But also like it doesn't commit to it, which is like really weird and a bizarre choice and interesting. Um Also like Vanessa shows up, right? That one night. Maybe that's why, because they wanted to introduce Vanessa and like they couldn't then why not just use the next night? I don't know. But yeah, the scene where they all break in is like stupid. They break in through the side, right? They just start trashing everything. They're like, yeah, making this guy look bad. Cool. Fair enough. I don't think that's like it's very Saturday morning cartoon, but it's not like I don't think I think a lot of it's execution. If it wasn't so cartoonishly like written and executed and like if it was like a little bit more, I feel like that still could have worked where like they're trying to trash the place to look bad and they get killed. But I don't know. From like the way the movie does it, the movie basically wants you to like not be sympathetic at all with these people, which is a really interesting choice. Basically the movie wants you to like kind of almost relish in like the fact that these like animatronics are killing them. Like they it feels like a scene where you're supposed to it's like in a horror movie when they make the like slasher kill like the douche, you know, like the jerk, you know, I don't know, frat guy, and it's like, oh, this guy sucks, and like the slasher kills him and you're like, yeah, slasher, you get him, yeah. Like it feels like they're trying to do that type of thing, which is interesting. Like, yeah, let's just make these guys like they feel like villains from a fucking B movie. They feel like ripped straight from like that one fucking, I don't know, like it would be in that one movie about the motor cross boy who finds the robot dog. Just like a movie like that. Nobody knows the movie I'm referencing, and there's a reason for that. It's just like one of those like throwaway movies. Anyways, so yeah, the first, and let me tell you, I don't like any scenes with the cupcake. The cupcake, I like the cup. I like at first I liked like, okay, the cupcake's in the fridge, great, and then Chica's gonna like kill the guy. No, the cupcake kills the guy, and it's like the cupcake mauls him to death, and it's so like it's just goofy, and it feels like it's supposed to be goofy almost, and it's just like you got this big fucking cupcake covering this guy's head, and he's like, it's and the cupcake can like fly at people, and it's like it's so weird. And I get like I wouldn't mind it being its own character if it was like a small like Like I don't the scenes where I'm don't mind the cupcake is like, hey, it being in the fridge. Sure, just have it be in the fridge. Yeah, and then Chica like kills the guy. It's so weird because Chica doesn't do anything. She doesn't like actually actively kill anyone. It's always the cup. Why is it like I get maybe having like a one scene where the cupcake's alive? That makes sense. Sure, one scene where the cupcake is like alive and does its own thing. It feels like it feels like in any other movie, if you had a character like the cupcake, it would be like a little like goblin gremlin guy. You know, you're like, oh, it shows up like once and like threatens the people. Yeah, yeah, like maybe like yeah, yeah. Well, and I like that, like the setup where like the cupcake is like helping her kill. But then like literally every time Chica is like on screen, it's the cupcake doing all the work. And there's a scene at the end where like she kind of tries to do stuff, and then she gets electrocuted, and then like the cupcake tries to finish off like Mike and drag him. It's like a fucking cupcake is dragging him. I don't understand why all the focus on the cupcake. Like I get having one scene where the cupcake's doing something, not like all the scene. Like they seriously care so much about making the cupcake like a prominent danger, and it's just so hard to fucking take that seriously. And is that the point? Is it supposed to be comic relief? Is it another case where it's yeah? Oh hey, what's up, Cheesehead? But yeah, I didn't like the cupcake. I liked it being in the fridge, and I liked it going through the vent, actually. I think it being in the vent was, like, not the worst. Like, you know, you're taking advantage of... Sure, like, strategy, yeah. It makes sense to use it, like, with the vent. You know, it can apparently fly and, like, knock down a vent. Cool. I think that works for that scene, but, like... Ugh. That's an ominous background, thank you. It was kind of a cool scene with the vent. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, where like she like reaches down. I like that one. But yeah, the guy getting his face mauled off was stupid. The I like how that's a curtain right there, but like the lighting kind of makes it look like just like if you don't see like the wrinkles there, which you can, but like it almost looks like it's just pitch blackness. Like it's just dark. I'm like in a fucking basement and there's just empty void behind me. My friends have thought that before. Anyways. Yeah, Cupcake was stupid. The whole scene there was kind of the guy being in the like custodian closet, that was a good like kill. They did the cliche like you know, like bloody hand going on like the glass, classic. And then the door opens. I like that like the door opens and he sees the bloody handprint. But then like the guy doesn't really react to it that much. He's like, "Are you okay?" Or like, whatever. You know, I and he like doesn't really react. Like none of them react to it the way you'd think. Or like, you know, the first guy obviously, yeah, he's like surprised. But the rest of them just don't really react to it very like. The second guy, I guess, reacts to it pretty seriously. The third guy just kind of sits there and he's like, oh, bloody handprint. Oh. Like, you know, John? Are you okay? Bloody handprint. I'm going to go investigate. Yeah, it's a little odd. Oh, and then the last one where she's like, everyone's missing. Which is like, you know, their bodies all got taken or whatever. That's fine. The Max, the babysitter lady. And she, I don't even remember how the third guy dies. That's how fucking forgettable these characters were. I think it was like Foxy. And then like she sees the little boy and she's like, ooh, I'm going to follow him. It's like fair enough, I guess. It's kind of stupid, but like horror movies, you know. Sure. I can believe that. And then he's like, oh, over here. I'm over here. And she's like, where? It's like, oh. And she realizes like animatronic like bear. And she's like, oh, he's in there. So I'm going to like, she walks right up to the bear, like Freddy, which is fine, I guess. It makes sense. Because I guess she thinks there's a real kid. And more importantly, like, I don't know. She doesn't see a threat. She doesn't see it as a threat. It's just some fucking animatronic shirt. And her head gets right up to the mouth. And you're like, oh, Bite of 87 moment. Yeah, of course. Obvious direction. I don't know. It's really stupid. I don't know why she looks in his mouth specifically. I guess because she thinks the kid is inside the body, which if she does, there's like bigger concerns and other. I don't. I like it doesn't make sense why she gets up to the mouth specifically. The mouth, and then they set up her head to be right next to the mouth, only for them to not even use it, because then it just like drags her and bites her in half. That's so fucking stupid. Like literally, why not just decapitate her at least, or just like chomp her head? Oh my god, it's literally like an established thing. Bite of '87. The Cupcake just did it. I guess you don't want to reuse it. Oh my god, it was so fucking cheesy. You got the silhouette of like her body falling. It literally seems like they're trying to like do a campy horror thing just to make it like less scary. The whole movie seems like it is trying to work against itself in terms of being scary. It's like, oh, it can't be too scary. It's like it feels like they're almost courting like the family audience. It's like PG-13. Fnaf has a notoriously like young fan base. It feels like at every step they're like they're thwarting their own attempts at like horror. Yeah. Well, and a lot of kids watch it and they would watch it. So it's like, oh, we can't make it actually scary. I don't know. I don't like. Yeah. And so then Vanessa is like in on it, I guess. So she like goes over there independently and finds all this stuff. And she's like, okay, to be on screen, but I think like suspense and scariness isn't too much. Yeah. Well, and I don't. So like building up to the movie, I heard a lot of people comment like, "Oh, this is a gory FNAF movie. There's gonna be gore." I don't think there needed to be gore. Like that's the thing. This game didn't. It's actually kind of weird that they did like the her getting cut in half thing, because like they could have gone with like something more discretionary and that would have been like perfect. Like they didn't need to do that in the first place, and they're pushing like the PG-13. Like I think it's stupid. I think it's a stupid scene. Okay, and then like, all of them die. Vanessa, I guess, stops by. She's like, then she stops to his house and he's like, hey, someone broke in. Ooh, someone broke in. And then they have this stupid fucking talk by like the river, and she's like, why the fuck do you leave your fucking job unattended? It's like a serious fucking thing, dude. And you're like, oh, well, I have these dreams, and I keep trying to relive my dreams so I can remember the face of the guy who like killed my brother. And it's just like, she's like, okay, dude, okay, but I'm throwing your sleeping pills away. And like, she throws them away into the river, and he gets them back anyway. So it's like, and that whole scene is so fucking cheesy. I don't know. They're like talking by the river, and it's like, oh yeah, no, It reminds me of like back in my youth, me and my friend used to, there's the show Undercover Boss, right? And there's like a thing on Undercover Boss where it's like they always have to do a sob story for one of the employees, where it's like, yeah, and then like my mom died and she got cancer, and then my dog got cancer, and then my husband got hit by a semi-truck, and I have, a debilitating chronic illness. Like the show always does that. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't even know. Like, she shows up. Did she show up for the other night guards? Why the fuck did she, like... Did she show up with, like, the last guy? Is that what... But then she wasn't there when he died? I don't know. Why is she there? I don't understand what role she plays. Like, legitimately, why does she even need to be there? He seems, like, pretty gullible and, like, pretty, like, capable of dying on his own. Anyways, the story I was, like, setting up was, like, me and my friend used to, like, pretend to be Undercover Boss in Minecraft as like a fun thing we would do, and we would always make up the most like exaggerated like backstories and then treat them like dead seriously. I don't know why the fuck I brought this example up. I guess it's like a fond memory from my childhood, but like it reminds me of that. Just the stories, like the stupid bullshit stories we would make up, and like we just treat them dead serious, like very serious. I don't know why the fuck I brought that up. I don't understand why. Like, it doesn't. Her motive isn't really well established. I know, like, what spring. What the fuck is Springtrap's like? What is William Afton's motive? He wants to kill people. Like, I know the broader lore. It's like what, Remnant or something. He wants Remnant. He wants to create more animatronics or something weird and fucked up like that. He's just a serial killer. He likes making people get killed by the animatronics because he thinks it's funny. Thinks it's fucking. And, like, the animatronics specifically, like, they kill some people. Yeah. That's not established in the movie, but, like, obviously there's some, like, lore. So now he's a killer. I don't even. He's such a weird guy. And the movie is, like, even weirder. Like, I don't. Fnaf, like, movie William Afton's so fucking bizarre. So. What was I thinking? So yeah, Vanessa, I guess, tells him to stop taking the sleeping pills. He comes over there the next night. Max is dead, so he has to take Abby. So he takes Abby there. And then she, like, stays the night there. They both stay the night there. He falls asleep because he's doing a sleeping thing. While Abby is there, which is like, okay, before it was, like, negligent, but it's like, okay. Like, dead-end job. He doesn't expect anything to happen. Fine. Understandable. Fine. But, like, this guy is supposed to be, like, such a great, like, guardian, and he just, like, he's like, okay, Abby, just sleep here. And I guess he doesn't know, like, the animatronics are killers, but he's like, even without that, after a break-in, there's, like, other threats, and he's like, I get him, like, sleeping on the job when he's like, it's like when he's alone, but he, like, if he cares about Abby so much, you think he'd, like, show some, like, caution or, anything. And he's like, okay, I'm not gonna, despite me being. And I guess the whole point is, like, what, he's so fixated on his fucking dead brother that he, like, neglects Abby for it. But, like, there were other ways to get him, like, preoccupied for one. I don't know. But yeah, he just, like, decides, I'm gonna take sleeping pills while she's here. It's fine. To be fair, if it was, like, real life, it'd be a little more acceptable. A little. Even then, though, like, you're supposed to fucking look out for her. And it's like, you're working here at a night. Like, it's his job. Yeah, first of all, it's his job. He should be sleeping to begin with. Like, I think that is bad behavior. And then, like, at least the one fucking night you want to stay awake is, like, when your, like, sister that you love very much is, like, staying there. Just for, like, the bare fucking minimum. What if she, like, finds you asleep? I don't know. And then, like, okay, so he goes up to, like, clean up all the debris and stuff as well as, like, one thing. Like, he cleans up the whole place. Or is that after I think that's after. I don't know. And he's, I don't know. And so then Abby gets woken up. And it's like her friends, and, like, plot twist, her imaginary friends are, like, the ghost children. Specifically the Fnaf ghost children. Like, out of all the ghost children, it's them. Which is interesting. And kind of bizarre. I don't know. And so then she's like, and okay, one of the weird things, the ghost children are always referred to by their animatronic names. We never get their real names, which is fine, I guess. But, like, why does she refer to them as the animatronics, as if they're the animatronics? She knows them as ghost children, and she still calls them Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy. She's like, oh yeah. Oh hey, it's my imaginary friend, Bonnie. Like, pictured here, like an 8-year-old boy. Ah, yeah, Bonnie, my friend. Oh, yeah, Chica, my friend, who is like a, 7-year-old blonde girl with, like, a bib on or something. And it's like, really? Like, the kids, did they forget their names, I guess? I don't know. There's, like, some. she doesn't have a name for them. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that. Well, and she like knows that they're the animatronics, I guess, or she learns it at least. And it does establish previously that she's like, oh, I want to go with you. I want to go to your job. Like, I don't even know if she knows where he's working, but you could argue like that's set up for like she wants to see her friends and she knows her friends are there, and it's like implied she knows like everything basically that went on. So it's like, yeah. And this is on like I really hate the one of the things I hate is like just the animatronics. Like I get they're like friendly with children. That's like a thing, right? Like I that makes sense. There are other kids. Their whole thing is like they want to avenge their deaths and they hate the guy who murdered them. And the guy who murdered them is like an adult man's like employee, so they target adult male employees. Um, but like I don't I don't I think it fucking I think the movie starts like the movie is slowly building like kind of momentum where it's like kind of building tension where it's like, ooh, we're like establishing that they're like a threat. Ooh, we're gonna build up the like tension throughout the movie. And then halfway through just like kills the tension. Kills all like the build up for like these guys are like a serious threat. Just halfway through it decides like, hey, let's do a fucking detour where like we're just gonna have a middle portion of the movie where the animatronics are like completely friendly and fine. Yeah. Just now for a fucking break from like all the scariness. Like I don't like that. And I don't like they're okay with Vanessa for a reason. I don't know. Yeah, I liked it. Like kind, it feels very fanficky. Like the way that like the fort scene or like just the oh Freddy give me a hug, give me a high five or whatever. Like okay, that scene was fine. The fort one, it literally just a fucking comedic scene where it's like, oh I'm lifting the table. Oops, I fell over. Like the thumbs up thing. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was funny. I think it kills like the any sort of like horror aspect. Because even when they're established as threats later, like they're threats again, you gotta find a reason to make them threats again. And it's weird because they start out as threats to like Mike a little bit, you know? Foxy like slashes him in his sleep and then walks away or something. They don't like him initially, but they know who he is apparently. They don't act like maybe they do, I don't know. And they're like kind of hostile to him, and they go from being like the fort scene did feel super out of place. It literally feels like FNAF fan fiction where it's like written by like it reminds me of the stuff I saw in the community like back when the game first came out. It's like other children because you know I was a child. It's like the stuff that like yeah. Well, and specifically it makes them feel less like the children and more like it almost feels like it feels like they are trying very hard to characterize the animatronics strongly. They're like, look at these silly animatronics. Look at like specifically Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. Like look at the animatronics. They're like their own people and I almost wonder if Security Breach like influenced this with like their more like character driven like animatronics or like they have their own personalities or whatever. It makes them feel it feels like they're trying to I don't know like the fact that all the ghosts are like they're exclusively referred to by their animatronic names. They are like they do goofy things. They're like I don't know. I really don't think that should have been in the movie. Or if it was, like, I really think it just kills, like, any tension you had with that. Like, and I say this as, like, somebody who's, like, you know, I've been desensitized to FNAF, obviously. I wasn't going to find this, like, super duper scary. But, like, it just really, like, the finale just had, like, no fucking weight for me. Like, they establish a threat for them. They establish it after. I guess the point is, like, the kids are trying to, like, lure them into a false sense of security. Yeah, it really does. It really does. Yeah, and they're like, it's like, oh, they're like unpredictable. They could do anything. Like, and then they just, Well, and I get like unpredictable. You could argue, oh, they being friendly is. It just, yeah, it doesn't. Well, and part of the original like appeal of them, part of the whole thing originally was like, they kind of lack control almost. They're like, forced. They kind of. They lack control, and then in the middle, they're just completely like harmless, despite the implication that like William is influencing them in some way, and it makes them more hostile and lethal. And it's like, if that's like, why do we only see that at like the beginning and like the climax? Like, why in the middle are they like, they just have like oh yeah, we're ghosts, but like, it's fine. We have full control. We're just like robots now. That's cool. We're robots. And they don't even try to, I don't know. It feels like they're trying to make people like the animatronics. And people already, the thing is, part of like what frustrates me about that is that like people already did that. Like, you could have the animatronics just be like cold-blooded like murderers and still have people who are like, oh, Chica, oh, Freddy, hey. Like, people love the animatronics. They don't need to be good guys for like people to love them. They can be like kind of like, they can be evil, or not even evil, but like just misguided, like, they can kill people and be scary, and people will love them for that. Like, I don't, the original games like weren't like, the animatronics were unabashedly like just, just threats, and they killed people, but everybody like loved them for it, and everybody loved them, and like, oh, this is my favorite one. I feel, I don't know. It feels like they are trying to make people, I don't know. I think part of it's like the family audience thing. It almost feels like Security Breach is like kind of like rubbed off on it, or it's like kind of, it reminds me of Security Breach, just like the distinct personalities behind all the characters, and they're like, the thing with Security Breach that kind of like, I think is part of why I think the horror in that game, like the first, like, not the DLC, I haven't played the fucking DLC, I haven't played the game either, but like I haven't seen the DLC played through completely, so I don't know what's different. But like, Security Breach, one of the things I don't like about that game, one of the things I think kills the horror in that game, is the fact that all the animatronics have personalities, and they are like people, and that like what is making them evil is some external force, and it just kind of takes them over, but they're like their own people under it. Just being so like blatant about that, the mystery, I feel like, is a big part of the scare factor of like the original animatronics. Like, it's like, what are their motivations? Like, yeah, and it's like, it feels like fan content. It feels like a funny skit you would find online. It literally feels like a skit you would find online, where it's like, oh, like FNAF, and it's like, oh no, I'm scared for the animatronics. Oh, like the intro, the security guard's like, oh, the animatronics are so scary. And then like, the animatronic gets to know the animatronic, and it's like, oh, the security guard's like, oh, you guys are actually pretty cool. And then, I don't know, they like have a party, and it's really fun. It's like, oh wow, you guys are actually pretty swell. Like, that's like the type of shit you would see online. It's like the fucking FNAF musical. Yeah. Yes. It felt like I was watching like a parody. It felt like I was watching like the scary movie for like FNAF. It felt like that specific part. It's like, It feels like I'm in a universe where like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie like is a well established, like it's a really gritty horror movie and like takes itself very seriously, and then like there's like a scary movie style parody movie of it, and that's like a scene in it, and it's like, oh yeah, an alternate universe where like the banana splits is like the original property, and Freddy Fazbear is like some parody made up like property that I don't know. But yeah, and it just, uh, I don't know. I feel like I'm like beating this topic to death, but like it is just like a really, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like it's just a pretty, I don't know, pretty bad, and it messes up a lot. And they just aren't very threatening. It has no reason to exist other than to like be like funny and cute and be like, oh my god, it's Freddy. I love Freddy. It literally seems like it was written for kids. It just seems like it was a scene written for like the kids of the audience who are like, I love Chica, and they have no idea what the games are about. And they're just like, oh, I like Chica. It's like, oh no, the animatronics are scary. No, like, and it's like, oh wow, It's so weird. I don't, and it even goes like it feels like it goes against even what like I would at least think like Scott Cawthon is like more like interested in like exploring them as like a horror thing. Even the horror scenes in that movie are like comedic. Even the scenes where they're threatening are comedic. It's the only two scenes where like it's played straight are like the first one and the intro are like Foxy. You are like, I don't know. Some people probably think that da dum dum, but like is out of like, but that's from the original game. I like that. I really do too, but I honestly don't have super high hopes. But yeah, I didn't have. Yeah, yeah. Well, and even though I'm desensitized to it, first of all, I'm a fraidy cat, so like I can only be so desensitized. Like I the first scene was like a little, a little scary. Um, but also I don't know. I don't know. I I don't like the first scene. I don't know. First scene plays it straight. Um, and then the last scene, the last part of the movie tries to like play it straight, but after a whole movie of them being like, silly. Well, and it's framed as like they're only bad in this scene because William is there and he's controlling them. And like on their own, they're just kind of mischievous kids. I mean, they are like, okay, there's a whole baby thing. But even then, that's like implied to kind of be William Afton's influence, which is so weird. Like, it's like it's unironic. Foxy is the good guy posting. Like it's actual like FNAF 1 era. The animatronics actually aren't bad. They're just saying hi to you, going ah. That's their way of saying hi. And you just die of a heart attack. It's like the movie. It's like the movie is genuinely trying to like make the animatronics like just good. No, I like, yeah, he wasn't there in that scene for one. They're really vague about it. Vanessa's super vague about like what exactly it even means for him to have influence and what like his influence is doing. I don't. It's so confusing. They just like try to make them just like kids. And I get like underneath it all, they are supposed to just be like innocent kids, but like the reason why they're like the whole point of the whole threat is that they're like something about like being a ghost. They just are like angry, kind of animalistic, like stuck in like the state where they died. Like they are. The whole point is that they're like kids, but heavily like distorted. Like they are not. Yeah, yeah. No, like the point is, if they had like a pure ability to express themselves, they would be good. Yeah. Well, and like the lack of control is a big part of like the fear factor. Like they don't have full like I think the implication is like the kids aren't like bad. I guess they want to kill their murderer, but like I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. Like the kids' spirits like are not supposed to be bad. Yeah, that's a thing the game like does. You know, they aren't supposed to be evil. It's more of like just the lack of control is what makes them like dangerous and what makes them scary. Like the fact that they do not. The idea has always been that like they are innocent children's souls inside of these things. Like if they just had the pure ability like to express themselves fully without any sort of like barrier, they wouldn't be threats, which is what happens in the movie. And it's like literally they're just kids in the movie with like animatronic bodies. And they've got like some angst over it, you know. They're like, "Oh, we're pissed off because we got killed and we're kind of that sucks." But it's like kid angst. It's not like, you know, cursed like ghost kid who's like, I don't know, like, you know, a ghost and something about being a ghost makes you crazy. It's like, no, it's just we're just kids. They're literally just kids. The animatronics were never literally just kids. The kids were part of it, but they weren't literally. They weren't. Originally, they weren't just kids. They're just kids. In the movie, they're just kids. I can't emphasize this enough. They're kids and they know what they're doing, and they play tricks on people and they lure people places and then kill them, and like, I don't know. When they lure people places and kill them, it's like, yeah, okay, like that's like some sort of part, like something about being a ghost has like led them that I don't know, and it's just not. They aren't supposed. No, they are not supposed to be 100% themselves in the suits, but they basically are in the movie. For one, they show like a hell of a lot of restraint, in like multiple scenarios. Like they talk as like ghosts. Like the girl can talk to them as like kids, and they're literally just kids. I hate that. But yeah, I think I'm done doing like the plot synopsis. What's there to say? Golden Freddy kills the aunt. You're not supposed to care because she sucks or something. She was watching TV when Abby decided she wanted to go to bed or something, so she's bad. It's bad when she like neglects Abby. When Mike does it, he's got a reason. You know, it's for his dead brother, so it's okay. Hold on. I should get like a mute pedal so I can just like press the pedal and mute myself, but oh well. They shilled so fucking hard for Mike. And they didn't need to, that's the thing. Like, I can get behind a like flawed kind of like imperfect like protagonist who's like not always the best like parent, so to speak, guardian, you know. That would have been fine. That would have been, honestly, I would have found that more compelling. Vanessa, too, you know, she's literally an accomplice. She covers up murders. She's a cop who covers up murders. And I get it. Like, you know, she's manipulated with, like, her old dad. She's so fucking weird. They really try to make you, like, convince you that, like, it's just, like, she has no agency over this, and she's like not a bad person in the slightest for it. She's just like I don't know. Because she's like got a whole thing with her dad and she's like intimidated by him and she just can't disobey him. I kind of get it, but it's like she's helped him otherwise, and there's like not other ways she could. I don't. How does she know he's there? And was he not there before? Yeah, wait, actually, why is he there first? Like, in the first place, why is he there? What, because Abby's getting, like, turned into a fucking baby? Like, is the security guy supposed to be there? I guess it's that the animatronics were supposed to have killed that guy, so maybe he knew. How would he know about that? Has he just been in the shadows the whole time? And if so, like, Like, you'd think Vanessa would be like, he just shows up out of nowhere, just there, you know. Um, I don't know. The movie's kind of a mess. That's the general gist. I loved the set. Something. Oh my god, the special effects. I can't believe they made like the practical animatronics. The set was amazing. I love the set. Hell yeah, hell yeah. I think it's like the perfect way to like translate the FNAF like one location. I'm glad they didn't do like a 1-to-1. I feel like that location works better for a film. The one they did in the film, like it just I don't know. I'm glad they did their own thing instead of like just making like a 1-to-1 FNAF one, because that building is literally just set up for like gameplay. It would have been weird if it's like there's a hallway here and I don't know, 2 hallways and the I don't know. I don't think it would have worked. And it's also just a smaller location. Or it's weird. It's like bigger, but it's like more empty. I don't know. But yeah, it's like exactly what I would imagine. And it's a shame because Jim Henson Company like put so much work. There's like literally so much, like there's a giant process into like making practical animatronics and like practical effects. And they like put all that work only for the CGI to fucking do something to them to make them look like fake as shit half the time. Like I don't blame people for thinking that like they're CGI. So many people think they're CG. Everyone I've talked to like who didn't know the backstory thought they were CG until I told them. It's all practical. They weren't. Yeah. I know. Like, okay, not like the cupcake flying was definitely CG. And like some of the extra stuff. I know. No, it's so sad because they looked so fucking fake. I don't even know how you fucking managed to do that. Yeah, and you can like kind of, I don't know, you can tell in some scenes when like there's like actors like in suits moving them around. Pay attention, you know what to look for. Because they got 2 like different props. They've got like actual animatronics that they were using. Like actual animatronics, and then they had like people in replica suits that were like supposed to be indistinguishable, and hopefully you didn't look at like the fact that like the necks are a bit lower down or whatever. No, yeah, they were not CG. They had like a intricate puppet, like puppeteering stuff inside there too. It's crazy. Like the facial expressions, all that stuff. I like it being practical. I think that's I don't know. I think that's the only way to really go about it. They looked so yeah. I think part of it maybe was their movements. I think they like tweaked a lot of stuff. They they did do practical. They literally like from what my understanding is they had like minimal amounts of like CG reconstructions, like just the entire thing being CG. It's so weird. I don't. I feel like in the like in the VHS training tape that you see on like in the trailer, they look real there. And they look real. Like I feel like when they're performing, you can kind of tell they're like actual animatronics. Like when she first presses like the Showtime button, and then like they start dancing. They have like the classic animatronic stuff. It's like I wonder if the eyebrows were CG. I don't know. I there's like the weird like flirtatious thing with like yeah, maybe. Yeah, cuz like I guess like the whole point is like when they're controlled by ghosts, they're supposed to look less robotic cuz they're like controlled by ghosts, which is something. I could see that. There's a whole thing where like Vanessa is like kind of borderline, maybe like there's something going on there with her and Mike, and it's like weird because in the original canon, I think that like they're kind of siblings, or at least Vanessa's like a surrogate sibling to Afton in the games. She's like the replacement for Elizabeth, and Mike's the actual. It's weird. It's kind of weird that, well, and just generally unnecessary. Um, I don't know. I wanted to like come away from this praising like all the work, and I do appreciate like the work that like went into like, yeah. I although I don't think William, yeah, that was, yeah. I don't think he drew the yellow rabbit. I think that's like a drawing that they made because they had that perception. Maybe they don't have a good memory of the situation, so they just like, oh, like we drew this, so it's like we're happy. I don't know. It was pretty corny. I like the idea of them communicating through drawings, but not like to that extent. Not to where it's like a Deus Ex Machina thing. Honestly, I didn't. Okay, one thing I didn't mind was the spring lock suit design. Yeah. Which, like, how? I don't know. That's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna draw you dismembering a bunch of people. I don't know. Some of my friends like didn't like the spring lock suits. I'm gonna push back on that. I liked the spring lock suits in this movie, like design wise. I thought that was a good way to like reinterpret. I mean, okay, it is a little like why would you fucking need a rib cage thing? Like, I don't know, but it's really, I can't even like, it'd be really hard to fucking. I feel like that's the best way with like limited movie language. That's the best way to do that. And I don't know. I had like one of my friends was thought that Springtrap should have been triggered by water, because that's how like it's the whole thing. Um, I think it's fine like the way it was. I mean, okay, I don't like Cupcake because I don't like Cupcake. Cupcake, like the hole in the suit being produced and then like you getting to see it's like, oh, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, he's also got spring locks. I don't know. They seem like less lethal in like the movie, or they seem like less like they definitely seem bad. Yeah, I think that was cool. Although it's kind of weird that like I don't know, it goes into some weird stuff where it's like I liked the original premise where like he becomes Springtrap to avoid them and then like gets killed for it. Whereas like in this one he is already as like Springtrap and then like he it's weird. Like, why, genuinely, why did they kill the first night guard? I guess because William told them to do it. And, like, like, you would think they would blame the rabbit for killing them and not the, like, human guy. But they're specifically, they only target human guys. They don't care about rabbits. And it's like. And, like, the whole point of, like, the original scene in Fnaf 3 in the minigame was, like, he is a human guy, and they don't like him. They don't like Purple Guy. They're like, oh, shit, it's Purple Guy. We know this guy. Fuck you. Oh, my God, we recognize you. Fuck you. You suck. We're going to chase you. And it's like, oh, no. I'm going to disguise myself as Springtrap. That always works. I don't know. The way he act, like, Matthew Lillard, what does this take place in? That's a good fucking question. I think it's like vaguely. It's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be modern era. I think it's supposed to be modern day because you got like the. I know he uses like the fucking Walkman, but like it's at least after the 80s, right? So like 90s minimum. He's got a beaten up car from like the 90s, so it's like. It's old at this point, right? The 80s is old at this point. Maybe the aughts. Maybe it takes place in the aughts. It's kind of vague, actually, now that I think about it. It's old enough to where like the 80s is old. It's old enough to where like VHS tape with the training video Cause he like I think I remember like Mike kind of rolling his eyes at like the like training tape that he gets. He's like, oh yeah, this is fucking old as hell. Yeah. I mean, you could, but like that's part of the whole thing is like William Afton's like the engineer, I guess. So he's like a genius or whatever. I don't know. Mm. But yeah, I think overall I'd give the movie like a honestly like 6 out of 10. I'm gonna say maybe that's a bit too generous. I think I don't know. It was pretty like not great. Like plot wise, I liked the cinematography. I liked the way things are shot. Any scene with the cupcake sucked, but like get rid of the fucking flying cupcake, and that movie would have been like great visually. Oh well, and like the CGI looks fake as fuck. I don't like the special effects. Stupid. I liked it overall. Well, and like to be honest, I'm never gonna give an unbiased opinion. It's the fucking Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Of course, I'm gonna like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Um, I was kind of disappointed by Matthew Lillard. I guess I expected a little bit better. I did honestly. I didn't have as much of a problem with him as some of my friends did. No, I didn't either. I don't expect it to. Like I just feel like the original lore in some places was stronger than the movie's new explanation, which is why I'm talking about this. I get things have to be translated into film, um, and I get like you can't do 1-to-1 without losing like the effect. Like it film's different. I get it. I'm not like saying that the film I expected the film to hold up to lore. I'm just saying the shit the film makes up is like arguably like worse in my opinion. Some of it's better, I think. Like I like that it's like simplified. I appreciate that. We kind of it's kind of a refreshing thing. um and just B, that's like the best like option. That's like the thing they should have like that's the thing could have been done, but yeah, definitely. um it's yeah. No, I'm still saying like 6 out of 10 though. Why'd they never try to kill Mike? Because they know Mike, because um Abby is like their friend, and Abby draws Mike in specifically it's because Abby draws Mike in the pictures, and they all communicate through pictures, so they know the pictures, so they don't kill Mike because he's in them. Yeah. And then when she scribbles him out, then like they get mad, I guess. But even then, they don't immediately try to kill him. Just something. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that a little bit. I don't know. They kind of dodged ever giving them like official voices or like music by just making them sing like a cover of a pop song. Just like fine. Garrett in the lore, I don't even fucking know. I don't think he's supposed to be anyone in the lore. I don't think he is anyone in the lore. Oh my god, Garrett's so fucking weird. Because, like, it's implied he was also killed by William Afton. Prolific child murderer. Is he just supposed to be a different... Yeah! No, the other one's, like, it makes sense. But, like, I don't understand why it had to be William. I think it would have been better if they just made that some generic, like, other kidnapper, you know? William goes out of his way to kidnap a kid in like broad daylight in a fucking like camping spot park. And it's completely against his MO, you know? He doesn't do that any other time, as far as we know. And it's like, did Garrett like end up possessing anything? No, he's just dead. Is he like lure them from the pizzeria. Yeah, it's so. Oh. I think the movie would have worked way better if Garrett was not killed by William Afton and it was just a parallel situation. So Michael kind of got like the parallel, like, ooh. And the whole point is that he's supposed to let go in the end. So, like, why the fuck? Like, it. Oh, I don't know. For non-fans, but, you know, fuck them. And also, Golden Freddy's shown. Although Golden Freddy's, like, what, a hallucination a little bit? Not as weight in the car. I don't know. But yeah, that's basically what I think of the movie. I think I've, like, covered everything, basically. Like, I don't know. Yeah, they just, well, I feel like a big part of the movie that I don't like, they go way too heavy with, like, the lore. They try to set up the specific mechanics of the world, like, ooh, drawings, ooh, you know, dead kids and stuff. I feel like it would have been better if they hadn't, like, you know, excruciatingly explained every, like, I get, you know, you gotta non-fans into, like, it, so you gotta be a little bit more blatant, but then, like, make the story easy to understand without needing to, like, set it up throughout the film constantly. It's like, oh, pictures, oh, pictures, oh, pictures. I don't know. I think the movie probably would have been better without, like, I don't get why Abby had to be in the middle. Like, I get, like, sure, put her at the climax. You know, they want to kidnap Abby and turn her into, like, a thing. Sure. Literally, you could have taken out the middle. Like, you could have taken Abby out from the middle and just had her, like, get lured to the pizza place at the end. Establish she, like, knows the animatronics. Like, and that would have been better, I think. Like, I don't think Abby needed to be in the middle part of the, like, in the pizzeria. Like, obviously, you know, she's, like, in school or whatever, but, like, I think her being in the pizzeria that early was probably a mistake. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was Golden Freddy. Yeah, it was supposed to be Golden Freddy, but it literally just looks like Freddy. There's some there's like some throwaway line where it's like, I'm not Freddy. The boy says that or whatever. The blonde kid, like, is set up to, like, oh, he's supposed to be Freddy, but then it turns out he's Golden Freddy or whatever. I think that's how it is. I don't know. Yeah. Also, Golden Freddy's kind of evil. Also, Golden Freddy's like a ghost. Ooh, one thing I did like. One thing I will comment, and, you know, I had friends who weren't a fan of this, but, like, Sparky, holy shit, fucking Sparky cameo, hell yeah, you gotta fucking Sparky. I love that. I love that we got a stupid fucking callback to, like, and I don't think it's like Sparky. Like, it's obviously it's a different design than Sparky. It's probably some character in the books, for one. Maybe Sparky is, like, the name. Like, maybe they made a Sparky in the books. I think it's a Sparky reference, and that's beautiful. And I love that they made a fucking stupid Sparky the dog reference. Like, if you're gonna make a movie based off mostly FNAF 1, you gotta have, I don't know. Like, I think that's great that, like, they nodded to that. And also, you know, Living Tombstone, yeah. Well, because they have the dog animatronic in, like, the room with all the dead people. Yeah, at least I think it is. I like to think that. But yeah, and then see, and the ending, like, was not the ending where, like, Foxy is, like, stalking, like, Abby isn't terrible. The fact that she, like, accidentally sets off a, like, arcade machine and has to, like, search for, I don't know, something. I don't know. I think I'm, like, pretty fucking tired. It's like 1 a.m. for me. I think I'm gonna go to bed. But I think I got all my thoughts out of the way. That's I've been streaming for fucking 2 hours. Holy shit. Oh yeah, the Living Tombstone. Come on, yeah. I remember I saw the theater's reaction to Mad Pat. Holy shit, people went fucking wild. Yeah, the living tombstone, of course, and then there's like the final scene where the guy fucking the balloon boy. I like balloon boy making the cameo. It's just this really creepy, like kitschy, kind of doll. That works for balloon boy. And like everyone hates that guy. It makes sense. I don't know. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go to bed. Hey, thanks for tuning in. And sorry my mic was like muted for the first part. Oh, disconnected. No, that's not your end. Hold on. All right, I'm back apparently. Did you see those messages or like did those just show up? Like did you see those messages before? Did you see them at all? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's weird cuz like it shows my Wi-Fi. Every other Wi-Fi function from like my testing works. It's just OBS specifically like hates my Wi-Fi, I guess, and like disconnects halfway through. And it didn't do that when I was starting out, but like it just does that now and I don't know why. Is my like internet service provider sucky? I don't know. It's weird. This is why I started like recording my streams because like then that way at least when I upload the VODs, it's not like the gap or whatever. I don't have to like download 5 different, you know, because the streams get split up into like a billion segments by Twitch because of that. And yeah. But yeah. Anyways, I think that's a perfect, you know, sign. I should go and sleep. I am very tired. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy the movie. I can't lie, but I wish it was scarier. I don't know. Like I even get like I didn't expect it to scare me, but I expected it to try to scare me. I wish it would have at least tried a horror like thing route more. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Okay, I'm actually quitting. There's just gonna be like a 2-minute segment on like Twitch. There's gonna be a second VOD, like 2 minutes, and it's this. Yeah.